Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Imperfect Fighters.
Welcome back. Hope you guys been good in this quarantine season. I know it's been rough for a lot of people. It's been tough on us, trying to work from home and to get videos done with the interruptions and all the things we have to do.
It's not easy getting videos done with the kids home consistently. So bear with us. We are trying our best to get videos out so that we don't lose the little audience that we got. And also, guys, for those of you that are following us and that are here and sticking out with us, please share our videos, especially the ones that can relate to somebody else. Forward it to them. Get some more people over. We're trying to get to our 1,000 subscriber mark. Yeah. So please share it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Those of you, this is the first time that you're seeing us, hi. Welcome to our channel.
Yeah, let's get
Time here. Here comes Mr. And this is what I'm talking about.
Yes, perfect example.
All right. So today we are talking about independent. Today we are talking about independence in relationships. So is there such thing as being too independent in a relationship, and can it hurt your relationship? So what do you think?
I think when two people individually are independent, and then they come together and they, kind of work, they mesh their, they don't clash heads, so they kind of, they talk it out, and you will do this, you will do that, and you reach agreements on certain things. I think that's a plus. The other side to it is when someone's overly dependent. I guess I would say that, especially if you have a woman that's very dependent and been on her own the whole time, then she gets with a man.
Independent. You said dependent.
I'm sorry, independent.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Very independent. Then she gets with a man that's like, I want to be either the provider, or I want to do these things that I feel as the head of the household I should be doing. Then she's like, well, I've been taking care of myself my whole life, I don't need you. Then that causes issues.
So I definitely I asked this question on social media, and I think everyone except maybe one or two people said that independence will destroy your relationship. Like, I was actually shocked. I thought there was going to be more people that said that, no, you need to be independent. And that was a complete opposite, which I was honestly shocked. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised, because I personally do think that being overly independent or too independent can absolutely hurt your relationship when you're talking about as far as romantic relationships. Because then, especially as a woman, and I know it's hard for women because we pride ourselves in being able to hold our own and being able to stand on our 2 feet and not have to depend on a man to carry us or have to take care of us. But I do think there's definitely a fine line between being independent and, I can be your partner and still have my independence to a certain extent, and then me saying I don't need you, you need you, like that. I think that mindset of I don't need you sometimes definitely hurts relationships, where then the woman can kind of be making your partner feel less, because
that's right. You affecting manhood, if I'm supposed to be like, especially depending on the person growing up, like that's how they were raised. A man, if that's how they were raised, that the man's supposed to be in charge, kind of thing. and then they find someone that's super.
When you say in charge,
I'm not saying what is a
starts
right.
to have a
I'm saying
problem.
if someone is raised that way. If
Raised
somebody's
what way?
raised-
When you're saying the man
They're
is
raised-
in charge,
they're
do you mean
raised
like
like
the
they're-
head of the household? Like you are.
I'm not talking about what we're supposed to, right? I'm just talking about a situation like a man is. That's how he is. A certain man. Let's say this guy's name is Frank. Frank is raised up that way.
And I'm asking you what way, because you just said
In the way that he like more masculine, like I'm supposed to be in charge, I'm supposed to be the one working.
Oh, so you literally mean the one in charge.
That's what I'm saying. If someone is growing up in that environment, that's how they are, then they come with a woman that's very independent. That's like a big clash, because they're gonna say, and not most of the time, but a lot of times, people don't show their full colors at the beginning. So a woman may be like, oh, I'll kind of step back and allow him to be macho. But then when it comes down to it, she's like, you know what? Honestly, I don't really need you, like that kind of thing. That's when the clash started happen. But it goes back to the experience that how the person was raised, and how they are, their characteristics. And so if are they more willing, open to learn, that kind of thing.
Because I was reading a devotional, and it was about independence, and it kind of it's called Relationship Killers. So it was it spoke of independence almost kind of like a weed in your relationship. So when you let it get out of hand, it can smother the relationship. So it says independence is an attitude that fundamentally works against the relationship, and it takes a unilateral decisions without considering their impact on the relationship, and thus slowly chokes it. So basically saying that when you're too independent, or like you've had your whole life and you're like, I'm independent, I could do this on my own, I don't need anybody. Now when you're in a relationship, you still have that mindset of I don't need you, then you're making decisions in a relationship as if you're independent. And that can be a huge problem when you're like functioning. You're in a relationship and you want to be with this person, but then you're functioning and you're making all these decisions as if this person doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of like your partner's kind of looking at like, so why am I here?
Got you.
Why do you need me here?
So it's just like, I'll make decisions and I'll let you know what's gonna happen. Right. Okay.
Have you had that issue before?
I think we had that issue in the beginning of our relationship.
I know.
Oh, that's what you're trying to do? Jeez. Nice. But yeah, we had that issue in the beginning of our relationship where I would make decisions and, do things, and I'll say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And yeah, I was, I guess, very working independently. Yeah. And that caused a lot of issues and confrontations and things like that.
Because it honestly felt like, for a long time, it felt like I was the mother of his kids and his roommate, not like his partner. Like, it didn't feel like we were in a partnership. It just felt like I was there, we were living together, and I was taking care of your kids and feeding you and taking care of your other needs. But then when it came to like major decisions, it was kind of like you just made that decision, then you would be like, oh, this is what's happening or whatever. And it's like, why didn't you talk to me about it? And you're like, well, I didn't think about it like that. And that caused serious issues with us, because I felt like I wasn't in a partnership, and I felt like it was like, okay, so it didn't feel like we were married. It just felt like I was just there. And for me, I always come, no matter what it is, I always come to him and ask him his opinion on stuff. So I'll be like, okay, what do you think about this? Or I was thinking about this and I want to do this. And a lot of times he just, like, you don't even care to hear what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like, just make the decision. And not like that. Maybe that came out wrong. Yeah. It's kind of like you want... I'm not saying you don't care about what I'm saying. I said that wrong. a lot of times it's almost like you just want me to make the decision. Like you kind of want me to do the same thing you do, where it's like just make the decision and tell me about it later.
Yeah.
And for me, that doesn't work. Like I don't think that is how a healthy relationship works. I don't feel like I need to be making decisions and then just telling you about it, and then you making decisions just telling me about it. I feel like you have to sit down and talk about these things and make a decision together.
Got it.
Even
I agree.
if it's like we can't like even come to a perfect understanding, at least there has to be like, okay, I'll give up this part, you give up that part, and then we can just meet in the middle.
Good. I agree. So what if, well, that goes all back to trust. Like, do you trust your partner, that relationship enough to, you know, talk things out, or, you know, have both opinions be heard? Or you probably don't trust enough, like I don't trust this guy enough, or I don't trust her enough to
make that decision,
to make decision. Like that's what it comes down to. I don't have that kind of trust.
So is that how you felt? You didn't trust me enough to make those decisions?
No, I just thought that this was just, for me, I was just like, I need to make quick decisions. Bam, we need to do this. Bam, do we need to buy this car? Do we need to do that? I felt like this decisions needed to be quick, and I feel like for me at that time, I would say, if I bring this to her, it's gonna be a long process. She gotta think it out and all this thing, and I just need to.
Because
I was just used to.
An adult.
No, I agree. Yeah, and I was like younger. In my mind, you know, wasn't really that mature, but I just felt like you always got to make quick decisions. You got to move quickly, that kind of thing, and so that's why I didn't want to have those conversations.
Because you just wanted fast results.
I just
basically.
wanted, just move. You know, this. Oh, here's the issue. Let's fix it. Blah blah. But
which is so funny because you're like the complete opposite now.
No, yeah.
Like now, I'll come to you and I'll be like, okay, this is what needs to be done, and I'm sitting there waiting, like, tell me something, like say something to me, and you're like, hold on, I gotta process it, I gotta think about it, and we gotta think about this, that, and the third, or whatever.
You learn from your mistakes.
So that is you're right. You do have to. Okay. You do have to learn from your mistakes, because ultimately you have two people that are making independent decisions consistently and constantly. Eventually you're just gonna pull apart. Like you're just gonna start going your separate ways and gonna be living completely separate lives.
Yes.
So you're gonna be over here living this life, and I'm over here living this life. And that's not a partnership. Like, that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
So, eventually, you're just gonna... Pretty much what happens, like, we look at each other and we're like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. And why we're together.
Yeah, and why are we together if you're living over there and I'm living over here, making our own decisions. So, another part that I liked was it's saying that in a healthy partnership, it's not all about me. And it's not all about you. It's not about my money. It's about our money. It's not about my children. It's about our children. About our house, our children, our car, our holiday. Because holidays is a big thing too. And our church. So everything, literally everything should be ours, not mine.
Yes.
And money is a big thing because I recently had a conversation with somebody and I was like, you don't feel like you should have a joint account with your partner, or like if you get married, especially if you get married, do you not feel like you should have a joint account with that person? And she was like, no. She doesn't feel like she was like, nah, I want my own stuff and he has his own stuff. And I'm like, but what about what about your big spending, like your rent, your mortgage, your cars, like how would that work out? And she's like, oh, I paid this half and you paid that half. And I didn't feel like that I feel like, I don't know. I know everybody has their own way in their relationships, but I feel like that ultimately could be a problem when it's always that's my stuff and that's your stuff, because then it's like, well, I already paid. Like, let's say, God forbid,
do you think that could be like a safety net? So if we have separate everything, then in case
well, that's
something
not
go down, I can
yeah,
bounce.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of times people see their relationships as the plan B almost. So it's like my plan A is to stand up on my own and to do my own thing. You can be here, but my plan, I always have in the back of my mind, well, if it don't work out, I can just go ahead and leave. I don't feel like that's are you really in a relationship? Are you really in a partnership if you're thinking like that constantly?
It could be past past relationships scarred you. So you're like, I'm only gonna allow this amount of leg room of trust and that kind of thing. But especially with money, that someone could got burnt before with their ex, that kind of stuff. So I get it, but if you're dating and planning on thinking about getting married, you have to. If you're feeling that, then the person is not
the one for you, right?
One for you. Yeah, I mean, honestly and truly, and I'm not saying, everything will be perfect, but when you're dating someone and you're really committed and you feel in your heart and your mind that this person is the one, you're automatically was like, I could let my guard down and we could work together. Like, I want to pour all my energy into us either, having a joint account with our money or our home, like we're planning that kind of thing. But if you're not all the way in and you have a lot of reservations, you're going to be like, all right, let me ease up a little bit on that kind of thing. So I need to take care of myself, make sure my money's right, make sure this is right, that kind of thing.
So then why even get into a relationship if that's what your thought process is?
That's what I'm saying. That particular relationship, if you have that kind of feeling, that particular relationship is not for you. Because once you fully connect with somebody, it doesn't matter how the length of how long you guys been together. It doesn't matter the distance. It doesn't. None of those things matter. You're just like, listen, I just want to pour everything out into this relationship because I'm head over heels about this person. I know this person is head over heels about me, and I'm just going to give 100%. So those reservations, those walls that you put up, they like automatically come down because you know it. Now you're feeling that, and the person is a good person, then that the person is good, the person's right for you, and you still have that reservation, then yeah, you have issues that you need to get sorted out, like counseling.
So how did you sort out your issues?
What issues?
Your independent issues.
Well, I just said I don't want my wife to leave me, so I gotta get it in order. Like,
so that's all it took.
Yeah,
she's about to walk out the door, then we get it together.
I'm done. Like, and then I looked at the decisions I was making were dumb decisions.
They were very.
And so I didn't. I was like, oh.
I think that was my biggest thing. Is a lot of the times they need to see your face, babe. They need to see your face. A lot of the times it was like, that was so stupid. Like, it wasn't even like, why would you make that decision? It was not smart.
Okay. All right. We're past that.
But we need to know, how did you get to this place of a more mature, how did you get to the maturity level where you realize this is just not right what I'm doing? Because you saying, oh my God, my wife is gonna leave me. Okay, what about people that haven't gotten to that point where they are married and their wives is kind of like, yo, you need to get it together or forget it forever?
Well,
what would you say to like a single guy has that mindset that like, I'm the one making the decisions and I don't need to talk to you about it?
That basically what I said before. You gotta trust your wife or trust your girlfriend or your fiance. You have to have you have to say in your head, do I trust her to make these decisions with me? Are we making these decisions together? Saying, do I have her heart and my heart? Are we in one working together with this. If not, then I'm like, then you have to find someone that is like, don't waste your time. And if you guys have conversation about stuff and it's just constant friction, like we constantly don't think the same way, I think don't to carry on
for
that,
sure, to
keep oh yeah, the sex is good or he looks good, but I'm gonna keep having this friction because our hearts and mind can't see the same. Not saying you guys are always gonna be on the same page, but can't come to a compromise to say, all right. Well,
if you see the opposites more often than not,
yes,
then you probably should just go your separate ways, right?
It shouldn't. Yeah. It shouldn't, because especially at the beginning, like at the beginning of your relationship, everything. Not saying everything, but majority of the stuff should be peachy. Like you're kind of just getting to know each other, and most people don't expose everything that the thing is after like years, and you learn, you're like, oh dang, she really is a dirty dog.
What?
I'm just that's an example. I don't know, it's a dirty dog. I know it's a dirty dog, but anyway, I digress. No, I forgot where I was.
You're saying at the beginning of a relationship.
Yeah, at the beginning of a relationship, you're just like all in. What you want me to walk across the Sahara with you? I'm down. That's this dumb stuff. And if that at the beginning is not there, everything is friction. It doesn't get better, and with time, it does not. Yeah, it gets worse. Like it legit gets worse, especially when you cross over into marriage, and some people just be like, I'm married. It is what it is, and they don't put work. They don't do that kind of stuff, and so. Yeah.
So what would be your advice from a male standpoint as far as women that come into a relationship like I'm independent and I don't need you type of mindset?
I just be like, listen, if you don't need me, then we don't need to be in a relationship. I need you to need me as well, vice versa. Right. I need you to want me to do this. You want me to fix this to me. I need you to, and you explain like this helps it may help their esteem, but it helps us, wanting each other. It helps us.
I think that helped us too. Yeah. This cutie pie. Oh, I don't want me to touch it. Daddy.
Hi, everybody.
I think that helped us too, because there was a point where because I felt like we weren't in a partnership and you were making these independent decisions, I just started doing stuff on my own, and I wouldn't ask you for anything. I would just try to figure it out by myself, and then you started to question, do you want to be with me? Like, do you care about me? Do you still love me? And then I realized that I got into that thing, where I put up this wall and I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do and F what you talking about. And I definitely had to take a step back and realize, hey, do I want to be with this man for the rest of my life? And the answer was yes, because I love you, Pookie.
No, love you too.
Anyways, yeah, so I definitely had to take a step back and say, I do want to be with this man. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. So that I saw that obviously it hit home to him, where he realized, dang, I have to make a change so that my wife can feel comfortable and she can feel a part of this marriage. It's not just me making decisions. And then I had to work on those walls that I built up to kind of let them down, and then start to ask you, hey babe, can you do this for me? Can we go do this together or whatever? And that definitely had a shift in how I saw your, not ego, but how your confidence grew. Star. R, yes, good job. Can you go show that to Nana? Go show Nana the star and the R.
and the D. There you go. Good job.
I need him. And if he doesn't see me as a partner, then I'm not going to see him as a partner. And that's exactly what this devotional is talking about, because then you're making these independent decisions, and then eventually you start to pull apart. And I feel like that's exactly what was happening. It's like we started to pull apart until we both realized, dang, we kind of do want to hang around each other for a little longer. I do want to be with you a little longer than 2 years.
That's right.
And so, yeah, so my advice to women, because I'm just going to speak as far as women that have that I'm independent, I don't need you type of thing, is if you do want a husband, you do want to find this partner for the rest of your life, you do have to let down those walls. You do have to kind of let go of that independence the independence of I don't need you type of thing. Because I mean, everybody wants to feel like they're needed.
Yes.
Especially men. You guys do want to feel like my woman needs me, my woman wants me, and we do have to do our best to make them feel like they want it. And that should come naturally. You should want to need your partner, right?
Yes.
So that's my advice for women.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah. What is your take on independence? And if you disagree with us, if you feel like you can be independent and have a successful, healthy relationship, comment down below, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Peace.